Hello, hello. Um, oh, I forgot to change the title of my stream. Let's change it to daytime. Okay. Hi. Um, let's see. Mic's still working. That's cool. Um, I said I would do a daytime stream. Oh my god, we're gonna have to probably just give up on the mic altogether. But anyway, we gotta roll some ads and then we'll crack into it. And guess what? I made a BRB screen, so BRB. Okay, we are back, and I tied a garbage tie around my microphone cord to try to keep it working. I think the mic is fine, but the cord that I use for the mic is a random cord. I don't know where it came from, but my cord that originally came with the mic stopped working, and I found one that fit, so I just started using it, and it's just like gone down in quality over, I think it's been years since I started using it. So it is what it is. I honestly don't even know what the hell type of cord it is. One end is USB and the other one is like mini USB. Not even mini USB. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not that good with technology stuff. And the beeping is driving me crazy. Whatever the beeping is, I think it's the connect. It's driving me. Hello, 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 hello. So I just tried to use my desktop audio and it doesn't register as anything. So I don't know what the fuck that means. So now we're just stuck with the in and out mic. That kind of sucks. Hopefully we can get through at least a reading with sound. Jeez. So, like I said, I'll be streaming later. I'll take a dinner break. I want to start before midnight, but we'll see what happens. I guess it kind of depends on how long I stream right now. But I figured, expand my reach, I guess, and just see if anybody new comes up on daytime or if any of my old friends have become daywalkers because I've always had my overnight crowd. And of course, there's different time zones. So, um, yeah, my goal was to do more day. Hello, this mic situation is bad. I don't know why the desktop audio is not working. I thought the desktop audio was what's built into the computer, so that should always be responding. Okay, okay. Audio is gonna suck. Whatever. So anyway, I'll be back later. Um, I think I'll try to stream a little longer tonight than I have the last few nights. I don't know what to do. Oh my god. It like cuts out and then I don't touch it and it just cuts back on. It's so annoying. Okay. The audio situation is getting old fast. But hey, Punch Drinker. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't streamed in a long time, so I haven't seen you, but um I'm back at least this week. I'm gonna try to make it a more regular thing, even if I'm not streaming every night. I'm gonna try to start streaming again. So yeah, I do plan on doing a later stream. I just thought we'd test the waters on the earlier. Wanted to do like a 3 p.m. stream, but I was on the phone and then I had to get ready, and then it was just I didn't. So, I was thinking maybe we would just do like a quick thought reading, um, and go from there. Kind of want to save my energy for tarot for tonight, um, because my last couple streams, these last 2 nights, have been pretty good. Um, People be showing up. which is nice because it's been a while, so I can't expect anybody to be here. But they're here. So I want to save the good stuff for tonight. In the meantime, we'll just do a quick overview with the thought deck. Audio going strong. We love to see it. I threw a bunch of crystals in here for a show I did, like a vending. I have more. It's just like a handful of crystals. And I left them in there. I just left them in there, and now I put them out when I'm working. But I don't have a ton of space on my desk right now, so I'm not going to pull them all out. You wouldn't be able to see them anyway. So, still drinking my morning coffee, which honestly doesn't matter because caffeine doesn't really do anything to me anymore. Okay. Think about what you want to know about. I'm sorry if the cards shuffling is super loud. It's registering all the way up on my end. Every time I bang it on the desk or drop cards, it's like shoots up. Okay, this is a lot. We'll just do this. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, we have the art card, which is Sagittarius. A few notes on the art card. Sagittarius is temperance in most decks. So I like to remind people that it might be a good time to take a break or dabble in sobriety, though it is more of a focus on creation and alchemy. I like to add that reminder because I think it's always good to be reminded to take breaks and maybe get sober if that's the case for you. So I like to mention that when I see the art card, but we'll focus more on the creative aspect of arts and literally bringing things to life for yourself. On the top of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, completion. So you might be taking a break from something, but this is it. This is it. Need sound. You're not going to need to take breaks from this anymore. Like, things will be a lot less exhausting, or you will just stop going back to it altogether. Right? So, if you have been in a creative rut, also, I think that is ending, where you'll start to get your mojo back, you know? It's good. Cycles ending is good. Coming to a completion is good. I don't know when that would ever be a bad thing. You know what I mean? You're finally done with something. and it's going to make way for new things, right? So, right up top here, so be so careful touching these cords. We do have the Seven of Discs. Failure in the financial sector. Bankruptcy vibes, right? Like just not. This is crazy. The mic literally will cut out and cut back on without me doing anything, without it being fucked with. So I would also just take the opportunity to say, think before you speak, because that's what this is forcing me to do, is to pay attention to what I'm saying, to make sure I'm being heard. So let that be a message for you. But yeah, shit looks hard right now. It looks pretty tough out there. Um, I feel like some of you may have been cut off by a woman, whether that is your boss or your mother or your girlfriend or your wife. Um, there is a woman in your life that may have contributed to this financial ruin. It's possible that they kind of spent your money and that's why you're in financial hardship, but it seems more like they were helping you and cut you off. So, just saying. And it probably caused a lot of fights, you know? As we probably know, if you've watched my stream before, when I see cards face down, I like to remind people that this is what needs to be addressed. It needs to come to surface. So let's see what we got. Queen of Cups, yeah. Mom, hello, mother. Um, Maybe you're like moving out for the first time and you thought you would be okay, and as it turns out, like shit is just more expensive than you expected, or your bills are a lot higher than you wanted them to. Hi. It could also be woman passed away, but I don't think it was that, because it's really more getting cut off than it is losing, right? That's why we had swords. But it is something to do with your mother. Now, if you are dealing with a spouse or partner being the one to kind of cut you off, maybe because of a breakup, maybe because they just got sick of having to pay for everything, I think it reflects the relationship that you have with your mother if it wasn't your mother directly. But you need to address the relationship or standings you have with your mother. Ten of Discs, dreaming about that wealth. You're really like, I think maybe you were hoping that something that you started was going to make you money and it didn't. Maybe being in the relationship, or like, again, moving out or getting the job that was supposed to pay your bills and it like doesn't. Um, you definitely were planning on having more and you were not expecting to be in this hardship right now. Um, the fact of the matter is, you're going to have to get used to it. This situation is not improving overnight and potentially not improving anytime soon. Hey, weird. Um, it's something that you are going to have to get used to. I think of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they're like, oh, they're new poor, we're old poor. And it's kind of that energy of like, you're new poor. So you might want to talk to your old poor friends and get some tips, tricks, advice, and cut some shit out of your budget. You know what I'm saying? I like, when I smoked weed, I was buying $40 ounces of shake because it's the same fucking weed. But you can't afford $150 ounces anymore. You know what I mean? And that's just one example, right? You might have to quit smoking altogether. Quit cigarettes. It's $11 a week at minimum, probably. Most people that smoke go through more than a pack a week. I don't. I don't really smoke. Um, so it's just you're gonna have to learn to deal and maybe even downgrade some of the things in your life because this situation is not going to improve anytime soon. Um, this chair is so funny. I just slowly sink down and I don't even notice I'm going down until I look at the screen and just see that I'm like a lot lower than where I started. So, um, I think this is a reminder to trust your intuition and to act on your emotions. If you are feeling some type of way, you need to express it. If you are thinking something, you need to act on it. This is not the time to to putz around and ponder over things. This is like I don't want to say it's cutthroat, but like you're in this position where you need to get out of it as quickly as possible. So if you have an idea, you have to go for it. You just have to say, boom, I'm doing it. This is how it's going to be. So trust your intuition a little bit more. You are going to have to be brave. These things, like I said, it's going to take time. This is your situation. This is your situation. This is not a temporary situation. This is your situation. And you are going to probably have to change a lot of things to get out of this situation. Straight up. And it's going to be very hard. Which sucks. Yeah, nobody wants like a negative tarot reading. This is not very positive so far. Not good, right? That sucks. I have to be the bearer of bad news? Shit. That sucks. I think of my own situation and I'm like, damn, that's probably true. That's probably true for me too. Is it ever enough anymore? You know? We have the Queen of Wands here. This could be you. This could be going back to the mother figure because it's the third queen that we see in this reading. So this might be an evolution of that figure in your life. But if, well, it's fire, so it's masculine, but it's queen, so it's feminine, so it could go either way. But this person is very emotionally mature and has a handle on their feelings. So this person is not going to explode at you. They're not going to be mean to you. So if you're the person who doesn't explode and is kind, then it would be about you. But I feel like this also is kind of indicating asking for help because we're talking about being brave and facing things head on and also emotional maturity. Or accept help. So this is sort of the reminder that you might need to do that and the person you're asking will most likely deliver, right? We were talking about getting cut off. You might have to just ask to be cut on. You wanted to be independent, you're not, right? You just, oh well, what are you gonna do? The only thing is, we have the devil. Not good. I'm telling you, this is not a very good reading. It's not good. I don't know if it's resonating with anyone, but if it is, that is heavy, and I'm so sorry. But we're dealing with the devil here. So even if this person is very mature, or you're very mature, there are still demons. There is still that kind of like controlling aspect. They might be able to handle the emotions, but they can't fully handle themselves. They kind of lose it. There might be a little anger issue, maybe addiction issues. But again, it's like that controlling behavior. So it's almost like you go to this person for help and suddenly they want to dictate what you do with your life. Not fun. Not fun. Not cool. You'll have to work through that. Also, back to the reminder that if you are going through this tough financial time, you need to analyze your own choices, your own vices, your own habits, your own addictions, and start kicking them to the curb. As you should, regardless, but especially if you are in financial straits. Right now, you're not you're not manifesting anything. You're not putting in the effort to create a better reality, but you're not working against yourself either. You're not destroying what you've already created, but you are not incentivizing what's happening to you, right? It's basically like you could be praying every night, saying your affirmations, writing down your goals, checking off boxes every day, taking little steps toward what you want. Things like coins in a jar, or cutting out unnecessary expenses, or whatever you can do to improve the situation, you're not doing. But you're also not making the situation worse because you're not sitting there thinking about how it could all go wrong and how you're doing so bad. You're at the point where you're not really addressing it. You're like, damn, this sucks. And that's it. You're not sitting there being like, oh my God, I can't handle this. This is getting so bad. I don't know what I'm going to do. You're not in that mode of stress where you're like actively tearing down what you have built, even if it's not what you wanted or needed. But you're not improving the situation either. Um, in your heart of hearts, you don't know if it's going to work out. You're not you're not certain it will work out, but you're also not certain it won't work out. And you're just not sure. You're really going into the unknown right now. And that can be really scary. Definitely can be scary. Um and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not think you're an independent person. You are not an independent person. You're not dependent on other people, but you're not independent, self reliant either. You probably take a lot of advice from people. You, like I said, you're used to getting help from people that you recently no longer get help from. And that's what's making you realize, like, damn, I am not as independent as I thought, even though I never completely depend on anyone. You don't count on it. But that's the problem. You weren't counting on it. You weren't counting it. You were like accepting the gifts without writing the thank you notes. You know? You were just, oh, wow, that's so nice. Cool. Moving on. You weren't like, damn, that really accounts for a huge part of my budget. Cool. There was like no acknowledgement of it. So now you're like, yikes, I don't think I'm as independent as I was. I thought things came to me because I'm a good person, when really they came to me because I was a needy person. So you're in this in between where you're not depending on anyone, but you're not independent either. And I just don't see this situation changing. Like I said, this is your situation. This is not a temporary situation. This is not something that's going to get resolved next week or this month. This is your life now. This is your life now. Like, you went through some major life change and it's affecting you, and not in a good way. Like, not in a good way. I'm guessing it's like it has to do with moving. You probably either are going through a breakup or you moved out of your caretaker's house. Something like that. Or maybe you went from having roommates to living alone because you really wanted to, but you weren't ready to. So, um, yeah, the situation is not changing and no one's coming to save you. Period. Um, there's really no use fighting it, but you also have to put in a little fight, right? you have to like work towards what you want without like losing your head about you, you know? And the funny thing is like, there's this need to make an investment. You really want to make an investment, but you don't have the wherewithal to make that investment right now. And investments don't have to be financial. You can invest your time, your energy, your love, your anything into the thing that you want to invest in. But you are not in a position to be taking on more, right? Definitely not in a position to invest financially. But all your energy needs to be going to solving your problem rather than kind of taking on something. Mike, okay. You know Mike? His name was Mike. I still didn't watch season 6 of What We Do in the Shadows. Um, Shifting now into the second part of the reading, I got a nice little pile here. That's a decent pile. And on the top of that pile is love. So let's see what's going on in the life of love. Woo, okay. So we did have the Queen of Swords earlier. That's why I was saying like you may have been cut off financially by someone recently. But straight up, love takes effort. If you are one of the people going through a breakup, I want to tell you that you're probably too late. You you basically put all the effort in at the last second, at the buzzer. You were like, "Oh shit, I lost this person. I'm going to put all my energy into getting them back." Okay. You should have been saying, "Oh shit, I'm going to lose this person. I'm going to put all my energy into keeping them," if that's what you wanted. So you have to ask yourself, is that really what you want? Now that you're putting in all this effort towards your romantic situation, it's like, is that really what you want? If it wasn't enough to be so close to losing it and not doing anything. You know what I mean? Trying to get it back now when you didn't keep it in the first place, questionable. It's questionable, you know? It's probably not for you if that's the case. And sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone, but there's a reason it's gone, you know? If anything, give it time before you just go all in. Take the space, improve the situation, prove yourself to yourself, not to them. You don't have to give them updates. You don't have to tell them everything. You don't have to talk every day. But yeah, I think when you love hard. And that's okay. No regrets. But yeah, love does take effort. And I feel like maybe you weren't putting in that effort. So we were talking about your financial situation being very tied to your mother, but we are seeing your romantic situation being very tied to your father. So your examples in life may have been mom who copes with things by spending, mom who is dependent on a man or woman, mom who was fiscally irresponsible. But we're looking at dad who continuously fucked up and tried to make up for it. And maybe this led to a divorce, or worse, he was able to sustain his relationships that way, right? Damn, okay. So, yikes, you're repeating the same pattern of both of them. Repeating this pattern. You know, I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. Um, I knew a man who had a drug problem, and he would take money from his family, hundreds, thousands, it didn't matter how much. He would take money from his family and he'd go off and do drugs for days on end. God knows where, with who, right? It was, no one could get a hold of him, no one could find him. They'd go around looking, they'd call on his phone, shit was off. Like, he would just abandon ship. And he'd come back and he'd say, I'm gonna get sober, I found Jesus. Every time, every time. This was not like an actual, like, religious revelation. Revelations is the book of the Bible. Revelation. No, revelation's not a word, is it? I'm not really sure. It was not a genuine revelation that he found God. It was his high away from being high. So every time he did this, his wife would accept it as truth. He's getting better. And he never did. Never did. Died. They stayed together. So he got what he wanted. And he kept stealing. And he kept leaving. And he kept coming back. And he kept making promises. Right? But he never got through that cycle. He died. And she ended up alone anyway. So I'm not saying that you're all going through the cycles of addiction with someone, but it's that, like I was saying, it could have led to divorce, or worse, you stayed in it, stayed in the relationship, right? So whether you're that person who keeps fucking up and saying, oh, I'm going to get better, fucking up and saying, oh, you know, but not putting in the work and not doing it, then that's why you're in this situation in the first place. That's why suddenly you want to do the work that you weren't already doing. Think that one through. Do you think that's really what you should be doing? Right? Like, anyway. Queen of Discs. Fourth queen. We got all four queens. It is a lot of cards, but it's still, I would say, a little peculiar to get all four queens. They weren't all in a row or anything, and they all are very different, but we might still be referring to the matriarch. So, this could be that the father was dependent on the mother, and the mother was the financially independent one, and that's maybe why there was some issues with the spending, with the shopping, or with the power dynamics of having money, being in control. That's why we were talking about someone who's emotionally mature but also manipulative, because we got the Queen of Wands and the Devil side by side. So if they cut you off, you know they can afford to put you back on. And that's what you're afraid of admitting to. It's like, look, I need help. I need to do this. I need this. I do feel like maybe we are talking about a separation, a breakup, a divorce, whatever, whether it's the parents' situation Whether it's the parent situation or your situation, right? There is some heartbreak there. So it might be the relationship that you saw manifested in front of you, or it could be the relationship that you are in or getting out of right now. But yes, it is very heartbreaking. It is hard. Like I said, this is not a it's not a temporary situation. It's not a I don't I you nothing is permanent, so I don't want to say it is a permanent situation. It's just not going to be resolved as quickly as you want it to be, or as quickly as you think it can be, or as quickly as it might seem like it will be. This is a more devastating blow, if you will. We have the Six of Cups, and we have the Ten of Swords. Now, I don't usually think this of these cards, but put together, it's giving cheater vibes. It's giving cheater vibes. It's giving like there was a woman in the situation, because this is my yonic card. This is feminine pleasure. It's water. It looks like all this. That's my yonic pleasure card. So there was a woman who was finding her pleasure, whether you are the man who was with a woman finding pleasure outside of your relationship, or you're the man and there was a woman who was finding her pleasure without you in the relationship, or if you're the woman, you were cheating or were cheated on. You know what I'm saying? Um, Take it how it resonates, put it where it fits, right? There was most likely something that a woman did that ruined everything. That ruined everything. But I don't justify cheating. However, I think that the person who was cheated on in that way, right, they had so many chances. They had so many chances to fix it, to be honest, to get out, to whatever, and those chances weren't taken. And it led to this infidelity, and it's, oh, this ruined my life. She moved on. How could she do this? There was a lot leading up to it that told you damn well what she was doing and what she was going to do. Right? There was. So, again, I don't condone cheating. I don't think it's ever the right thing to do. Just break up. But sometimes breakups aren't that simple. And sometimes you really don't know what you got till it's gone. You have had to be very strong through all of this. But honestly, at the end of the day, there's heartbreak, but there's happiness. We got double nines, bro. Double nines. That's good. Strength and happiness. With great strength comes great resilience. There's a push and a pull there, right? Or even two objects pushing on each other. But there's happiness. You've been relieved of a situation, right? We have the Lovers, Gemini, decisions, relationships. You had to make a decision. Were you going to stay with a cheater and be miserable? Or were you going to leave them and be happy? I think you left them to be happy. But now, you're suffering the consequences. You're like, damn, this is really hard. I got really used to being in a 2-income household. I really appreciated that person in my life. That sucks. And I'm not saying who's who. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to talk about it. It is what it is. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus. It's also tradition, and it's also doing what you're supposed to do or what you think you're supposed to do. But in this case, say you were married and there was a cheating scandal, but you are against the belief that divorce is okay. So you're like trying to stick in it. Not good. 10 of Wands. Not good. Not good. Don't do it. Don't do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fix it. If something breaks, you fix it. You don't quit. You don't give up. You're asking for a lifetime of misery doing that. So you gotta cut your losses and not worry about what people think, not worry about what you're supposed to do, and worry about you and what you need from the situation, from the person, or whatever. I will say this reading seems oddly specific to a particular situation, but it also almost seems a little inconsistent. It's almost like I don't have all the details, so I'm trying to overcompensate with details. But it doesn't seem like it would apply to that many people. It seems, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are going through the same situation. I don't know. But anyway, let's look at our future cards. The best is yet to come. And something shine? I don't know. Is certainly not going to get any worse. You need to appreciate that. You need to appreciate the fact that it's not getting worse. You need to shift your way of thinking when it comes to money. You have to learn it now so you have it ingrained in you later. Basically. And you fear and continue to fear not getting everything that you want, even though you know you will never be without. So, yeah. That was I think it was a good reading. It's just, again, it seems oddly specific and also complicated and also, like, I don't fully know what it was about. So, that's what I got for ya. I was gonna say, hope you liked it, but you probably didn't. Who would like that shit? It was not good. It was not good. But hopefully it's what you needed to hear, if that was the message for you. Hopefully that's just what you needed to hear, you know? Yeah, so, I think it's pretty quiet. Thanks for lurking, lurkers. But I figure I'm gonna go. I'll relax, have some dinner, go for a little walk. My medical consultant told me to go for a walk after every meal to help regulate blood sugar. So I've been trying to do that. You know? I'm trying to do that. So I'm having a nice big dinner, and I'm gonna go for a nice long walk. I don't know how long we'll walk, but I went for one earlier after I ate. So I'm getting there, doing it. So I'm gonna relax, take my time. I'll be back later. That's my plan. Hopefully before midnight, but at this point, it's not even super early, so it might be sooner than later, you know. But my crowd comes out at night, so I'll be looking for you. Maybe you can come back and join me. Punch, drink up. It was great seeing you. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. Love you all. Love you gals. Love you gays. Happy Pride and Free Palestine. Cool. I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks. Love you. Bye.